Hi ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, of course I want to remind you again of the importance of being involved in these organizations that are trying to expose, investigate, and prosecute pedophile networks in our country and throughout the world. If there ever was a war where you don't have to worry about conscientious objection, this is it. So please remember Navy SEAL Craig Sawyer's website, vetsforchildrescue.org. And here's some other artistic examples of what he is trying to do to get people aware of what's going on here. I think these show his commitment to what's going on, so I hope you can get behind him. And also there's this website here, which I've talked about before as well, opdeepstate.com. Both of these are very important, very easy to get involved with, and I hope you go and take a look and get involved in this most worthwhile of causes. Thank you. I'm Roy Potter, a former U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel. Welcome to the Potter Expositor. Hi ladies and gentlemen, it's April 13th, 2017, and I thought I'd better say a few things here. First of all, I want to show you the item in the description box below. It's concerning a U.S. airstrike on a rebel chemical facility, storage facility, that released those deadly chemicals into the atmosphere and killed a lot of people. Now this is according to AlMasdar which I am told is a reliable, objective source. I haven't verified it yet, but my point is well made, I think, that I've talked about before. That if the U.S. really thought there were chemical weapons on this Air Force, on this airstrip in Syria, and they bombed it, that would have released chemical agent into the atmosphere. Another indication that this whole thing is bogus. Okay, Trump may not have realized the danger, but his military did. So there's some really bad problems here. His advisors have told him about this. As you know, I'm very suspicious about a lot of the things that are going on now. And as some commentators have pointed out, yeah, it could be part of Trump's grand strategy. But there are some canaries in the coal mine, and these are what we need to look for. Before I say that, some commentators have also said that, oh, we hired Trump to make these decisions for us, that's why we're not concerned. That's absolutely the wrong attitude. That type of complacency and that type of lack of vigilance is what always causes us to have a problem. It's hard enough keeping the government's feet to the fire and abiding by the Constitution when we just work day to day and just do our voting and try to write our senators and things like that. But to totally give way and to not interact at all is absolutely out of the question. We can't afford to do that. And it's just too bad that it's left to so few people. This is tough. I supported Trump. And I do still. But I'm starting to see some problems. And a lot of it has to do with his advisors. We've talked about that. I'm not going to get off on that again. I have something else here that I think is important. So, with all the things that are going on, he turned around on 5 points. Now, Alex Jones says, oh, it wasn't really a reversal. The fact of the matter is whatever the strategic reason is, there's some problems that we're seeing, and it's obvious, okay? So what I think it comes down to is this, and we're kind of starting to see maybe a little light here. For me, from the very beginning, from when this whole thing started happening back right after the election, and Trump was being interviewed, and he was asked, well, are you going to go after Hillary Clinton? He says, they're good people. I don't really want to cause them any trouble. That's ridiculous. And as I pointed out, there's some of the most evil people on the face of the earth. So to say that was my first concern about Trump, my very first one, that he was setting us up for a betrayal. Well, that may have changed here in the last few days. But I'm going to call it this way. The canary in the coal mine to see if Donald Trump is real or not about what he's doing. That he's not just out there, in fact, like Michael Moore and some others have said, just to build his own dynasty using the wreckage that he's imposing upon the New World Order and then just taking it over himself, which is kind of interesting too, because you know, the kingdoms of this world, and I'm not saying he's Christ, don't misunderstand me, but the kingdoms of this world are supposed to fall and all be taken over by God. And how God orchestrates that is up to him. Maybe Trump sees himself in that light, I don't know. I would be very concerned about that. Don't misunderstand me. I would be if that's how he views it. But that's a whole other issue. What I'm trying to say here is this. The canary in the coal mine is if he goes after Clinton. If he goes after Hillary Clinton and all of those associated with her in doing all of these crimes, Podesta, etc., and I'm not going to name them all, then if we actually see some movement towards that, he doesn't need Comey. Comey's release of Hillary last year is not a perpetual forgiveness. That's just not. There's much more that could be done despite what Comey did. Okay? So he still needs to go after Hillary. If in fact that materializes in a serious way relatively soon, I would say that that will give us an indication that Trump is in fact for real. That's it. The second, of course, is Comey himself. Comey should not be the FBI director. And I think most people realize that now. And Trump said he has confidence in him. How could that be? How could that troubles me that Trump would even say that he has confidence in Comey under the circumstances. You don't say that you have confidence in somebody that's got a hand in trying to undermine you. There's just something wrong with that. Is it Trump being nice on the surface? Maybe. But the people need to see that he's serious, and so that's why I'm saying this. Our canary in the coal mine should be Clinton is in trouble, gets fully investigated, indicted, prosecuted, etc., and there are actual things going on there to prove that, and her lackeys, her people that have committed so many crimes, and that Comey is asked to resign, at least publicly asked to resign. Or privately, and then if he doesn't do it privately, then say, come out and say, well, I've asked Comey for his resignation. We need something positive to show that there's a real course of action in turning the Republic back to its proper course. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I don't want a whole lot of information here to bog all this down. But as you saw at the beginning, I had that little information on the pedophile network organizations or those who are trying to fight that. Again, please go to vetsforchildrescue.org by Craig Sawyer and also opdeepstate.com. Folks, we really need to be involved in this. Our government leaders are dragging their feet because so many of them are going to be exposed, and that's why they start all these wars and do all these things, is to try to stop that. That really is what they're trying to stop, not just the takeover of their monetary system that's been so horrible to so many people, but they'll start these wars and things to try to get off us looking at their behaviors in these hideous, criminal, horrible things. And we need to expose them. So please go there and see what you can do. And I also want to add that, the people that Trump has brought in there in his circle have primarily been establishment people. My understanding from a very good friend of mine who is up on top of all of this so superbly and is often the one that pulls me back from getting too far over the edge. He said that Trump has had a lot of friends in the course of his lifetime, of course, that are very successful. They understand the system and that they could help to do something. And that Trump apparently asked many of these people to assist him in his endeavors here with the Republic. And almost all of them turned him down because they know of the crap and the filth in D.C., and they frankly just didn't want to get involved with it. But I'm going to publicly ask them here to please put aside their concerns for themselves. No greater love hath a man than this. Sorry. To lay down your life for your fellow man. We're talking about generations unborn here, gentlemen and ladies. please reconsider.